All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Game Changers podcast. We have Luke on right now. Luke, how are we doing today? It's Hump Day. Was
It
it a
is
Hump
hump
Day?
day. Hump day is the best day.
No, is it?
It is,
Yeah.
as they said in the
What did you do with
commercial,
your day?
hump day. I don't know. Um, I had class today. I had three classes, and then I had practice from 4 to 6:30. Very good practice.
Yeah. Did you hit
Yep,
some balls out?
I did. I hit one. Yay. But um, I had a good practice. I think it was it went well. It's progressing to hopefully be where I want to be in a couple months, and just all part of the process. Hopefully, just get better,
Yeah.
1% better every day.
Yes, sir. I like that energy.
Yeah.
Um,
How was yours? I know you had work.
I did. So I worked a double today, and it's also the
Getting
week
that
of
moolah.
finals. Getting that moolah. Um, but but yes, I worked a double, and then it's also finals week here at University of South Carolina. So, been taking some finals, lots of studying, and then I've also had a lot of games at P27, which has been super fun. But
Didn't you guys have your senior night yesterday or today?
we did. So we had our senior night yesterday. Yesterday, yes. And we played Columbia International University. Just none of our games this week are in conference, so just kind of some fun games. Um, but it was really fun. We have 26 seniors, which is wild. 26 seniors. Yeah.
God damn.
Um, a lot of them. Some of
That's
them,
absurd.
so there are a few of them that reclass, but the 26 is still crazy. It reminds me a lot of South Carolina because we had 24 new guys this year on our baseball team due to draft, due to transfer portal, and
Yeah.
due to graduation.
My freshman year, I came
Um,
in with 18, I think, something like that. So,
18 freshmen.
yeah.
That's wild.
So, yeah.
How many are still there?
So like
Wow.
16 or
That's like when
17?
I was that's like when I was in level 4, and then I got to level 10, and I went back into my level 4 like picture, and I saw how many people were still there, and it was like me and one other person.
Yeah, when I quit, there was
Um,
only like I think three or four of us that were left, if that.
yeah,
And then
that's life changes.
when I went back to work, when I turned 18, there was none of us that were still there.
Nope.
Um,
Nope.
so yeah, that's
Yeah, staying in a sport for 13 years
especially
or,
especially
however many you
gymnastics.
did.
Gymnastics is not easy to stay in for that long.
But
Yeah.
actually, on that note, I have my news for the week. This is big. Okay. So, Courtney Capets Carter, who
Hmm.
is the head coach, or I guess was the head coach for the University of Georgia gymnastics team, was just fired
Why?
after 7 seasons with the Bulldogs,
Why
or
was
I
she
guess the
fired?
Gym Dogs.
Did they not do well this year? I mean, I know
Listen to
LSU won the
this.
national
This is wild.
championship.
Yes, yes. So UGA is an SEC school.
Yes.
They the previous coaches that were at University of Georgia won 10 national championships, which is
How
crazy. So
long were
they
they
were
there
like a
for?
powerhouse. I'm not sure when the other coaches were there. I think it was a span of like 20 or 30 years that they won 10,
Okay.
which I think is great. I think anyway. So Georgia failed to qualify to the NCAA nationals, just NCAA, not
Okay.
even
They didn't
SECs.
even,
The
yeah.
NCAA
Okay. So they had an off
didn't even
year.
make it past. They didn't even wait. So they didn't even make it to the regional final in Gainesville, Florida. They finished last out of the 8 SEC teams in the past 3 years in a row,
Okay.
and went 1-6 in SEC matchups this year for the third year in a row as well.
Okay. That's pretty bad.
Right.
I
And they have the
just
number one recruiting class this
and
year.
still couldn't.
And yeah,
Do we know anybody at Georgia?
yes, Holly
Oh, that's
Slater.
right. Holly is at Georgia. I did just do a quick little research on it. They asked Jay Clark if he wanted to coach and go to Georgia. I don't know why he would want to do that after he just won the national championship with LSU. So he
Hmm.
did decline it. Um,
Shocker.
I don't know why you would leave after winning a national championship and at the best school in the country. That makes no sense to me. But
Right.
so they're still looking for a new coach. Um,
Interesting. She's been there for 7 seasons. She went to University of Georgia, and now she's gone, which honestly I think is good. And it's not that she's a bad coach. It's just they need someone else. They need someone
yeah,
new to get them to
I
the
don't think
winning.
it's necessarily her.
Um,
It couldn't just, it could not be,
no,
it could just be wrong coach or right coach, wrong place
wrong
or
time.
wrong time.
Or yeah, or
Like she could
yep,
do
or
better
wrong place. Yeah,
in a different situation, different scenario, all that other stuff. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So my other two quick facts are that the Carolina Hurricanes had the highest odds to win the Stanley Cup this year.
that's surprising
Um,
since the New York
mhm,
Islanders are the President's Cup trophy winner with the highest amount of
yep.
wins and points of the season. So you'd think they would have the higher chance. And as being a Caps fan, it's sad to say, but they kind of do have a quick and easy way through the first round. I can't remember who they would play if they win, but they are 2 games up on the Caps. The Hurricanes, I believe, are up 2 games to start.
Doing pretty good.
Um, so it's a little odd to me how they would have the highest odds over
Who do you think's
the
gonna win it
Rangers.
this year?
To me, it's between the Rangers and um, I don't think it's going to be a Western Conference team. I think it's going to be the Rangers or the Canes. Um, and since the Canes added Kuznetsov when the Caps traded them, they've kind of gone off. Um, and he's found his like a new like I don't know what the word is, but he found like a new energy with them. Um,
New
yeah,
groove.
since he came off of the NHL players personal list or something like that, where he went away for a month and got himself situated. And when he came back, they sent him down and then traded him to the Hurricanes for, I think, cash considerations or something like that. I don't know what they got back off the top of my
Hmm.
head, but I think that he's changed that team in a way that they didn't expect him to, and he's
Hmm.
one of the best players in hockey, in my opinion. So I think it's between the Islander, whoever wins between the Rangers and the Canes, who I think is going to be in the Eastern Conference Final. Whoever wins that is going to win the Stanley Cup. I don't think there's a Western Conference team that could compete with them. Um, but whoever has to play the
Agree on that.
Bruins is also going to be a tough series because the Bruins are really good. Um, I just don't see a Western Conference team winning it. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
I think it's
rant.
gonna be fun to watch though.
Yeah,
It was a good rant. It was a great rant. Um, yeah, I don't know who's gonna win it this year. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be the Capitals, but
sadly. Yes. Um, so we'll see. But yeah,
yeah.
that's my rant.
And then my last little fact is that it's not even a fact; it's more of just like a quick discussion point. Is that there are a lot of MLB pitchers that are out right now with arm
I could
issues,
go on for hours
and
on this topic, and I
yeah, this
think
this
our
might
guest
be
could too, based off of the knowledge I know on baseball and in general. So okay, so on the topic of all these pitchers going down with elbow shoulder, more elbow than shoulder, but a lot of Tommy John surgeries. I think it has to do with the pitch clock. That's a whole issue in itself, but I think it has to do with the narrative that baseball players or pitchers, especially now, are chasing velo. And when you're chasing velo, you don't care necessarily about lasting long in games. And when you don't care about how long you're lasting in said game, getting to the fifth inning to get the win, it's more all about getting throwing as fast as you can to get outs as quick as you can, not caring about how long you're lasting in games because the bullpens are going to be behind you throwing even harder. So like there was a stat I saw, I don't remember the exact number, but there's been more pitchers averaging over 95 than ever before. And adding in the pitch clock where the guy's arms are consistently throwing in under 15 seconds over 100 miles an hour in some cases, in most cases, it's causing the elbows to get strained easier and quicker and causing the UCL to pop quicker. But it's also starting from the youth and up. So with the majors and college scouts looking for harder velo and everybody's chasing velo and not
Yep.
length and getting outs like Nolan Ryan or Verlander early in his career or Garrett
Hmm.
Cole when he was with the Astros and went 20-0 in that season. It's they're not really chasing the wins, they're chasing the velo, and it's when scouts are looking for velo, the kids see that, and then all they do is chase velo. And when you're chasing velo from 12 years old,
Yep.
your arm's not going to be able to sustain that. And I have
Yeah.
had three friends already this year get Tommy John in college. So,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some of the guys, I mean, the pitchers that we work with at P27, the amount of times I hear them like talk about they want to
Yeah,
hit us, they want to hit 90 and they want to hit, I get it, I totally do, but there's something valuable about being able to last 5 innings and being able to like
exactly.
command your ball. Whether it's, I mean, there's a reason that guys who throw breaking balls are so like people can't touch them. It's not always, who can throw the fastest. It's what
Yes,
can
exactly.
people hit.
Yes.
But
So I think our guest today will have a very keen opinion on this topic that we have now brought up. She is the student manager. She's a freshman at Delaware. It is Jules Dadurka.
Hey, thank you guys for having
Thank you for being on.
me.
hey, how are you?
I'm doing
Good.
well. How are you guys?
Great.
Happy to have you.
Good.
So, yeah, absolutely. So, where are we finding you right now?
So, unfortunately, still stuck in a dorm. Beauty of being a freshman on campus. Delaware makes you
Right?
guys live in their dorm.
Builds
But
character.
yeah, yep. We have a lot of weeks left before finals because of our winter break, but pushing through, pushing through.
Good.
That's awesome. So, okay, so you're a student manager. Walk us through how you kind of like got into that.
So I started playing softball. Oh my goodness, I think I was 8 years old, and I fell in love with it almost immediately. It took a few practices to get into it, but after a while, it was the best thing in the entire world. And I played very competitively throughout middle school and high school. Eventually, because of injuries, stopped playing, and just for my body, it made more sense to take a step back and enjoy the game. From a viewing perspective instead of
Mm-hmm.
playing. But so I came here in intending to be involved in sports because of my passion for it. But I remember getting a text from my mom. She was like, "Oh my goodness, they're looking for managers." I was like, "This is my dream. This team is awesome. I love the coaches. They're all amazing." And I remember reaching out. It was like a crazy email of like, "Oh my goodness, hi, you guys don't know me, but like I love you guys. I will work with y'all, and I can't wait. Like, please give me the opportunity," kind of thing. And after a few meetings, it clicked immediately. So yeah,
It was like an interview process as if you were going into a job.
basically we got on. It was like a mass Zoom call, and it was like, "Hey, this is what we're looking for. We're hoping for people with experience. It's okay if not, but we need help with stats, some bullpen assistance, and everything like that." But yeah, it was a good process, but eventually I got into it.
So, are you the only manager, or are there a few others?
So we have two other managers. Currently, we have I believe she's a junior right now. So she's been with the team since her freshman year and has been very consistent with being with the team. But they needed more assistance since our gameplay has developed significantly since she has started working with the team. So they were looking for more help with like everything between equipment, uniforms, getting food orders together, and like setting up the field when needed and things like that. So yeah, there's three of us.
Now, I do have a
That's
question. It
awesome.
may turn sad because I know you had some injuries that caused you not to play anymore. But do you miss playing, and did you dream of playing in college when you were younger and in high school? And if so, has being a manager fulfilled that dream of being involved or playing with a college team? And if not, how so?
Tough one. Managing is like everything that I've ever dreamed of doing. Like I am working with the best of the best and the best coaches, the best athletes, the best trainers, everything. And I knew from day one of softball pretty much. I was like, I'm going to be with a D1 team, whether it's being on the field or working behind the scenes. And yeah, I had some offers in high school and I was really hoping to play, but it turned into a situation of taking care of my body and I would not trade managing for anything. I honestly, I hate to say it, but I do prefer managing over playing. I love just dealing with the stats and everything and being able to watch and be like, okay, this is what needs to happen in the game and watching the girls execute it. It's the most amazing thing.
It's like watching your work pay off, but like not having
Yes.
to get up to the plate and like bottom nine, bases loaded,
Right.
Well,
ties.
that
Like,
leads into my next
yeah,
question. Leads to my next
I
question.
totally
Yeah.
get that.
So, do you practice with the girls? Do you go to practices? Do you do stuff with them to make it feel like it's more like that? So then, like as you said, you get to see them execute what you see them doing in practice and stuff like that.
So I go to every practice and for D1 it's crazy. And even for being in a smaller conference with like the CAA, it's still a lot. We practice 4 times a week, with Mondays being our off days. And so a big chunk of my time is taken up by softball. And we normally, in a normal week, I'd say we have anywhere from 3 to 5 games between midweek games and then weekend series. So it is a lot, but yeah, it's awesome.
I love that. I was I was a student manager for the Gamecock baseball team, um, and I did a lot of similar things. So I'm curious, like, what was the dynamic like when obviously I was the only girl at Gamecock baseball, so it was a little bit different for me. But do you find that like you've made friends with those girls? Like, do you feel like equal, even though that you're like, how do you feel working for them?
Oh, it's so amazing. We have an all-female staff between our 4 head coaches and then as well as our 22 girls on the roster, as well as the 2 other managers. So it's a female environment completely. Everybody gets along. Girls are super nice. I talk to them. I see them in the hallways and like will wave at them and say happy game day. Like, everything like that. They're so awesome. Everybody gets along. I have honestly been very surprised just coming into a big D1 team with knowing these girls are here to compete rather than make friends. But friendship has honestly been what has caused the team to thrive.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sure I can speak for everybody in sports, but being in a sport and being on a team is something so valuable. And you just meet your lifelong friends. My lifelong friends came from gymnastics, and I, there was just something about, you saw each other more than I saw my
That's
team
true.
more than I saw Luke,
On an
honestly
average day,
speaking.
when you were at
So,
Hills, on
right.
an average
And
day, you would wake up, I'd see you in the morning, we would go to school in the same car. I wouldn't see you at school. You'd leave school early to go to gymnastics. I wouldn't see you until you got back from gymnastics at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, and I was practically in bed because I liked my sleep. So I'd see her for
yeah.
maybe an hour a day. So yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
It was, no, it was actually crazy. But I think it's inevitable that you're going to just make those connections, which is really, really nice to hear. Um, I do have to ask, do you have to do their laundry?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm so lucky. Oh my
Oh
God.
gosh,
I'm
I'm
so
so jealous.
lucky. Yeah, no, I was like, one of the things I was like, oh my God, please, nobody ask me about laundry. Like, I cannot deal with the all white uniforms. I'm like, those are issues. Our girls love being
Yeah.
dirty, so it's like, I was a little nervous, but yeah, we,
Sid, you gotta tell her about the 1 or 2
it's,
a.m.
Oh gosh.
laundry loads you'd have to do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, it's actually funny that you talk about white uniforms because I remember that I would like watch a game and I'd see them slide and be like, "No, you didn't have to
the
slide."
pain.
Like, oh
Yes,
no, like I just
yes,
washed those. That's gonna take 2 hours to clean. Like,
yes.
yeah. No. So what we had to do, so managers, we had like a rotation. We had 7 managers, which is wild. Um, but we would have start, switch, and pass out. So start, I could never do because it required going into the locker room. So I couldn't do that, but that's basically starting all the laundry. And they have loops, and they put all their stuff on like
It's a loop. It's like
I don't know, a loop.
you connect
It's
it together. Yeah,
it's a
we
loop.
do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Um, and then there's switch, which I would do all the time, which is you put everything back, you switch it from the wash to the dryer, and you get whatever's left in the locker room. But pass out was super fun. So if we ended a game at 10, start wouldn't happen till 11. Then basically I'd be passing out at 3 o'clock in the morning. And when we played another team, we would also have to do their laundry.
It's a little wrong, but
yeah, super fun. So I'm really, really, really jealous that you don't have to do laundry because oh gosh. And the amount of times that I had to use a toothbrush and toothpaste to get gum
that's
out of
disgusting.
pants is wild. Yeah.
See, that's the difference between male and female sports. Our females don't like, putting things in the pockets that should not be in their pockets. And we'll take them out before, but yeah.
Smart. No, the dynamic is so different.
Yeah, like for example, I had seeds in my back pocket on our game on last week. Last time we were home, I had seeds in my back pocket. Completely forgot about them. Got my pants for our game on Tuesday, and the seeds were still in there. So that's your idea. Yeah.
That's a big no-no.
It's painful to hear that.
Yeah.
So,
it actually hurts me. No, but that's awesome. So I do have to ask, and this, did you go through a phase? So I did this with gymnastics, where I went through a phase where I hated gymnastics. I couldn't watch it. I didn't want to go to meets. Did you have that phase between deciding to leave the sport as you doing it and then getting this job? Did you ever lose the love, the passion, any of that for it?
Oh, absolutely. Like it was a roller coaster, definitely between my body fighting itself, and it's like, okay, like come on, like give it one more day. Like you can get through it. And it was definitely at some points I remember being like, okay, I only have so many games left. I can do it. I can get through it. And then other days it was like I can't get myself off the field. But it was definitely a battle. I remember when I stepped away from the sport immediately after, it was like I want nothing to do with it. I will watch the game, but don't make me throw with anybody. I'm done. I'm retired, kind of thing. But no, like being on the field now, it's like, oh, just one more time. Like I just want to run the bases one more time. I just want to go up and hit one more time, kind of thing. So yeah.
Do you ever get to play catch or anything?
Yeah, actually, I have definitely warmed some of them up. I actually today helped with throwdown, so it's pitching a little bit, even though I was not a pitcher. It was kind of strange, but yeah, I love doing everything with them. I will feed the machine with them, help them with their teamwork.
So would you say getting this job like reestablished your love for the game?
Like sparks, yeah.
Absolutely. Especially coming from a history of not playing for very many great teams, like the passion goes down a little bit when you're feeling defeated constantly. But being around an environment where you learn that it's okay to lose and you can move past a bad loss, and just being supported by every single human being it's grown my love for the sport.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's very fulfilling to see the team succeed. And they're ranked number 1, right, in their conference now?
Yes, we are.
That's
I
crazy.
believe. Yeah, I think we have it's 2 or 3 games ahead of Campbell, who's right behind us. Notoriously, we don't have the best conference, but it's still very competitive when it comes to our postseason play. So
the team
really
that
awesome
I think you guys
thriving.
played a team on Sunday, it was Hofstra, I believe, and there was like 3 games in a row where there was like a total of like 3 hits in like game 1 and 2 combined, And then game three, I think
Wow.
it was like 6 total hits between the two teams. So then that was like the fourth team in the conference, I believe, or something like that. So you say it's not
Yes,
deep,
yeah.
but I think it's pretty competitive if the fourth team in the conference is giving you a game and they think they threw the I looked at the box score earlier today, but they threw the same starter all 3 games. So um, I mean it will help if you guys do win the conference tournament, and it'll help in the conference tournament seeing these teams as for 3 games already in the season. So hopefully you guys are able to. But
Yeah, we have had a really great team for so many years, luckily, since our head coach started 6 years ago. And every single team in the conference play us incredibly hard because the goal is at the end of the day, beat Delaware. Like, no matter what it takes, no matter who they play, beat Delaware kind of thing. So, hoping for a conference tournament win, but that'll secure us a bid to the NCAA regional round, and I'm hoping for the best.
So when does all that start? When is the conference?
So we end our season, I believe it's May 4th against Campbell, so a conference game. And we travel down to Wilmington, North Carolina 2 days following, and the tournament play starts. I think it's May 8th, so that Wednesday, and our championship game would be that Saturday. So it's coming up. We have 2 weeks left, and just gearing up for the
yeah, it'll be
postseason.
fun. Leading to my that leads me to my next
I'm
question.
sure.
Are the managers allowed to travel with the team to their away games? Like I saw earlier, you guys were in Florida earlier in the year, and you guys were in North Carolina to play in the conference championship, and or like the local games. Like I saw you guys play Towson this coming weekend. So do you guys are they nice enough to let you guys travel?
So, we are lucky enough to travel down. Our coaches are so amazing. They are definitely a team where it's like all hands on deck. Like everybody is needed, and they will find something for you to do. And yeah, I remember at practice a week or two ago, one of our assistant coaches walked up to me and she was like, "So I have this opportunity for you," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, like what is happening right now?" And she was like, would you like to travel down to the CAA championship? And I had a few girls around me. They're like, she's saying
Yeah,
yes. So I'm like, okay, yeah, absolutely. Like, that's a no brainer. I'm like, I'm ready. Can we leave today? Like, I was super excited, and they're just
that's
so
awesome. I
great.
like that.
Please,
Yeah,
someone say yes for me while
I
I'm like
just I
fainting
think
on the
it's
floor
amazing though
because I
that
get to
they
Right,
go.
support the
exactly.
Right.
managers and like
Absolutely.
their they want them to be with them as they're like a part of the team, get them to travel with them because you guys do go to every practice, you do everything with them, you do dirty work or like stuff like that. So like I love the fact that they are asked
Yeah.
you and want you to go with them to the big events.
There's something about being valued that is like you could do their laundry, but someone saying thank you and making you feel like part of the team is
Yeah.
complete. I mean, I'm sure that feels great. What does that feel like compared to being part of the team? Like kind of being on the other side. When you were on the team, you had people that would do, whether it was your coach or a parent or something, and you'd be, thank you for getting my, glove or, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
setting up for practice. What's it like being on the other side of that?
It's so different. I really have, since managing, just looked back and like, oh my goodness, like these people did everything for me. And it's just like, I'm so thankful for them. And, the girls express it too. Like after every practice, they always say thank you for everything. And, I'll get some
It
hugs
is
after
amazing how much a
practice,
thank you
and
can go.
they're the
Like it's a
best.
thankless
Oh,
job,
that makes me so
but
happy.
getting the thank you from the people that you're doing it for and them actually appreciating what you're doing for them is I know it means more than you
Hmm.
could probably explain, but it has to mean a lot for the people that you're doing it for and you're wanting to succeed, that they recognize the little things that you do on a daily basis.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And I mean, like the coaches will, sometimes look to us and are like, hey, like, did you see that play? Like, what just happened? And give me your perspective on it. And it's just like, I'm working with some of the best coaches out there, and it's so amazing being able to have these conversations that I never
Hmm.
thought I would get.
You're just like an equal, which is cool because I'm
Exactly.
sure. So, being a manager, what have you like? Do you want to work in softball?
So that was definitely a thing that I considered for a long time, but I decided I do want to work with peds, with disabled kids, and help with like rehabbing them. So yeah, this is
That's awesome.
definitely, yeah, it definitely has
Never
cleared
thought
my
about
track to
coaching
work with
with
the youth, and it's awesome.
the amount of time that you're with the coaches and them asking your opinions, and they must value your opinions since you probably have a lot of knowledge on the sport. Have you ever thought about coaching?
Definitely considered it, but I mean, honestly, like it's so much control that I feel like I don't need to have over a team, and it's a lot. So I've definitely considered it. Just seeing what they go through on a daily basis is it's breathtaking. And I mean,
Yeah.
I hope one day that I will get involved with it, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I can imagine it's pretty stressful. I feel like if I were a coach, like one day, like we'd be losing, 15 games in a row, and I would just be like, you know what? Here's my clipboard. Have at it.
Right.
I'm gonna dib.
Yeah, exactly.
So outside of softball, what kind of things, like what's your major? What are you studying?
So I'm a kinesiology major, which it's a big word. A lot of people have no
Big
idea what
word.
it is. Yeah.
Can't
So
even
it's
spell
the
it.
study of body movement, which is it's the top one of the top majors here. And I'm very involved besides softball. I'm in a few clubs. I'm always out on what we call like our main campus area, the green, just hanging out with people, interacting with literally anybody. So yeah.
Oh, what a social butterfly.
Yes.
What kind of clubs are you in?
So I am in one for my major. So originally, a couple years ago, we had an exercise science major, which ended up switching over to kinesiology because they're pretty much the same thing. And so I am in that club. I am in a club called Glory's Hands. It's basically giving back to the community, working with the elderly population, and helping them with their daily tasks that they need done. And I'm in a physical therapy club, and a
You're
few
like, I just
others.
go to the meetings.
Yeah, I just
No,
go to
it's
the
good.
meetings.
You get
Like there's so
into
many.
other
There's so
stuff
many here.
in the campus community
That's so
just
awesome.
besides softball, and I think that's great. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you get to feel like a student. And I'm sure I imagine it is nice again as a manager to have much more freedom than athletes do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not waking up for their 8 a.m. lifts. I'm still in bed, thank God, because I don't know
Yeah.
how I would get myself up for that.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm like, they're like complaining about, oh my God, this lift was so bad this morning. I was like, I was in bed,
You're
sorry.
like,
Like,
yeah,
I wish
Yeah.
I could help you.
yeah, you're like, I'm sure it was. That
Yeah,
sucks.
exactly.
I was asleep. Yeah,
Do
Exactly.
you?
absolutely. Well, that's so
I know
awesome.
softball and baseball are
I'm
related.
trying to think of a
Like
question.
if you like softball, you probably like baseball. So off the question that I introduced you with, what are your opinions on the situations going on in baseball right now? Any situations, Tommy John, arm injuries, or any other situations you can think of?
There's so much going on right now with baseball. First of all, the pitch clock, big issue being a kinesiology major. It's very much part of the reason why Tommy John has been a huge issue, because body movement is not prepared to do something that intense and that bad for your body that quickly, like only what 20 seconds after each, and it's it's a nightmare for them. I don't know how they do it. It's going like it affects how they have to train now. They have to train to move quicker, and
Yeah.
it's a lot. Baseball is going through a lot right now.
What do you think the solution is? Do you think that they should, because, baseball is hard, and most sports are, in the fact that they are made for talent purposes, but they are also made for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
So the reason they added the pitch clock is because the games were long and people were not staying, and it was affecting the business of baseball. Um, do you like, what do you think the solution is? Do you think that we go back to not a pitch clock?
And I mean, I know that it had been used in the minors for years prior and they didn't see as many issues, but honestly, either extending the pitch clock a little bit longer or even just completely getting rid of it because at some point your top starters are out. I mean, so many guys that are big names are on the IL because of the pitch clock. And, like Max Scherzer is starting rehab, Kyle Bradish from the
Hmm.
Orioles. So
Yeah,
many
Moon's
guys are
having issues, and then
having
the
issues
name
because of the
the
pitch clock
I could go on
issues.
for an hour on the amount of names that are going down this year with
Yeah.
injuries. So yeah. Hmm.
Like like aces, like good starters. And again, throwing really fast, and they can't last more than 2 innings. Like, even if they're not throwing, I mean, I remember you know, 100 is usually like, you know, the baseline from that's, I mean, around there, obviously. Like, that's a starter should be able to throw quite a bit. But I imagine that with pitch clock and chasing velo, it's a lot harder. Um, do
Yeah,
you
the
see
numbers have
anything?
reduced a lot, honestly,
No, go ahead,
between
go
how
ahead.
many, with how long starters are in, it has gone down
Interesting.
Oh,
I'm curious, do you see anything similar to softball? Obviously, there isn't like a they don't have as big of a as
they
MLB,
don't
but do you
softball
see
doesn't have a pitch clock, correct?
anything similar
Okay.
in arm injuries? I know it's a very different movement.
sick. No, no
Okay,
pitch clock, and it's a more natural motion. Honestly, the worst that I've seen so far this season
Okay.
has been arm soreness because
Um,
of that.
yeah,
So,
not your
yeah,
arm naturally goes in a
that's
circular
awesome.
motion.
huge
Um,
difference.
Baseball players use it as a slingshot. Um,
Exactly.
It's supposed to,
yeah,
yeah.
so I I
This
understand how
is
softball
not.
players could just have soreness, maybe some rotator cuff issues, but other than that, that's really probably it. The baseball players have more significant issues with their arm. Not to my question. Um, Back to softball. What is your opinion on the Oklahoma Texas battle for the top spot, since Oklahoma lost twice to Texas and then again they lost to BYU? What is your take on that battle that's going on in in the Big 12?
It's the most beautiful thing ever. Having Oklahoma three-peat is insane. They're taking all of the top recruits because who does not want to play at Oklahoma with Patty
Yeah.
Gasso coaching
I want to
and with
play
their new
Oklahoma.
exactly and their new complex. They have struggled in their conference with having competitive teams, which is part of the reason why they are moving to the SEC in a few years. And it just right now having Texas compete at that high of a level is it's one of the most amazing things that you can see in softball right now.
I love that. It's. I feel like with any sport, at least for me, like even if I'm not interested in it, watching like that level of talent is
Yeah.
awesome, and the
And looking at
energy
the rankings, I just
is
did a quick little Google search.
unmatched.
They have seven
Yeah.
teams in the top 40 in the country in the Big 12. So I can understand how you said that the competition is tough, and that's why people want to go to that conference, and it's going to continue to happen. Um, do you think that because the Big 12 is so competitive, it has made Oklahoma better in the recent years, um, compared to other conferences like ACC, SEC, and Big Ten?
I think it's a mixture between coaching and also the girls who were there before them. They have big shoes to fill once they leave. Like, I mean, they just lost Jocelyn Allo a few years ago, who just set the record for home runs,
Hmm.
and it just girls are trying to step up to be the next Jocelyn Allo, and everybody is wanting to transfer to Oklahoma and, use their skills that they have from their previous colleges to enhance them. And who knows what Patty Gasso's doing with coaching, because
Mhm.
it's absolutely
Yeah, I can understand
ridiculous
that because
how
like
insane her lineup is day
the
to day.
Romero sisters, they were. This is years back. They were. That's where I started. Remember Oklahoma being good is when they were there, and Sydney Romero and her sister. Can't remember her name at the moment, but Sierra. Thank you. Um, but
Sierra?
that's how I
You just
remember
remember
them
Sydney,
being as dominant
Yeah.
as they were like 5, 6 years ago.
as you should.
But as you said, too, girls transferring from the schools they were at, getting good, and then taking their talents to the best school in the nation. I can kind of see that with how baseball was with LSU 2 years ago, with Paul Skeens transferring from Air Force, Tommy White transferring from NC State, and then they
Hmm.
kept Dylan Cruz and the core guys that they had there, and you had just add a couple good pieces from other schools, you're going to be dominant for a while. And I feel like that's what Oklahoma has done. Um, because who again, like you said, who doesn't want to play there? So sorry, go ahead.
Right. And they, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they just saw Jordy Ball transfer, who was the freshman of the year, and
Wow.
unfortunately, she did tear her ACL within like the first 2 games of the season. But she was their ace, and now they have Kelly Maxwell, who transferred from Oklahoma State, in who's pitching, as well as Nicole Mendez, and it's everywhere in their lineup from defense to pitching as well as their offense. Everything is dominant, and it's hard to take away a win from a team who
So with
is
all of
thriving
that
in
being
all
said,
aspects of the game.
who do you
That's
think
true.
right now um, do you think is going to win the national championship? I know you're biased. You're going to say Delaware, um, but
I wish. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, we're beating Oklahoma this year.
you're
You
going to
heard
go
it
to
now. We're
Oklahoma,
beating
play in that
Oklahoma this
regional, then you're
year.
going to go
Don't
Yes,
tune
to
in. It's gonna
wherever the
happen.
yes,
supers are going to
it will
be.
happen. I can
You're going
feel
to
it.
beat them, and you're going to go to the College World Series. Yeah, but who do you think is
Exactly.
going to come away with the championship this year?
Tough question. I think it will be Texas. I'm fingers crossed for Texas. Even
Hmm.
potentially Georgia. Georgia has a great chance. LSU is in and out of the top five, and they have proven that they are ready for a Final Four game. And I think there's a lot of good teams this year. It's not just
Hmm.
dominant Oklahoma like it has been in previous years. And we've already seen they've lost 3 games this season, which is it's the most that they've lost in 3 years. And coming from being undefeated 2 years in a row, it's time for somebody else to
That's what everybody
bring
says with
home
Alabama
the World
football. Like,
Series.
give somebody
Give
else a
someone else
chance.
a
But
chance.
yeah.
Exactly.
Someone else a chance. This is kind of going with all sports, but this is I want your opinion on this. Do you think that I'll just use Oklahoma softball as an example? Do you think recruiting has taken a back seat to knowing that you can grab talent from the transfer portal?
Honestly, I think recruiting right now is the number one thing that is drawing these coaches to look at these athletes for their universities, especially Oklahoma. Patty Gasso was going out to Hawaii for girls, and it wasn't just her looking through the transfer portal. She was looking all through the United States, and the transfer portal definitely helps, and I feel like it definitely helps in other sports, especially college basketball with the women's and both men's. But I feel like with softball in particular, coaching very much has caused all of these girls to be recruited by their universities that they're at, and the transfer portal is just a plus.
That's awesome. Yeah. I can imagine that
Yeah.
taking, I guess, taking it all into account, you're going to get the best talent.
Like, and you guys at
And
Delaware, you
Oklahoma's
guys
done that.
have
And I think some other teams are going to follow suit for sure.
you have a girl from California, you have people from New York, you have girls from all over the East Coast and pretty much around the country. So it's not like it's just the Power Five schools that are now getting into the recruiting situation and the transfer portal and getting girls who from all over the country. Because I think you guys have like one or two transfers too. I believe your third baseman is a transfer. Yes.
Yeah,
So
yep.
I feel like it's now even dwindling
Yes,
down
from
into the mid
Duke.
majors.
Huge
And
transfer.
as you can see, good schools in the mid majors like Delaware are now running away, not really running away, but they're showing that they deserve to be in the conversation for getting in the NCAA tournament with how good they are. They only have 8 losses and 33 or 34 wins. So, yeah, I think that with the portal, it's helping the big schools, but it's also helping the mid majors as well.
Yeah, and I
Hmm.
mean, off of that, we have our 5 of our losses came from the very first week of our season, and without that, those weren't even conference games, and who knows where that would have put us in, potentially being looked at for rankings, which is something that Delaware hasn't done in a very long time. And I mean, we also have the CAA pitcher of the year from last season, and she's still dominant in the circle. Emily Wimber, she's awesome. This is her grad year, so we will be losing her next year, unfortunately. But she's given us so much. She's given so much to this program. She's been a great leader, somebody to look up to for all girls, not just the pitching staff, but everybody looks up to Emily because she knows the game so well. Which makes
I don't want to spoil the question I'm asking Sid for the end of this episode. But was Emily starting this weekend? Did she start
Oh,
the
okay.
games, or was that another pitcher?
Yes, I know where you're going with the question already.
Hmm.
So on
Okay.
Friday, which was our opener against Hofstra, which is a huge rivalry, Emily did pitch, and we unfortunately did end up losing
May have
that
been one
game. I
nothing. I
believe
don't
it
know.
was
You know better than I do. I
2-7.
haven't even
I
looked it
forget
up,
the
but I looked
score.
it up like yesterday.
Oh, that one. Um, Yeah, but we also have a transfer pitcher who came in, and Morgan Hess. She's been dominant in the
Okay.
circle,
Okay.
and she
So
threw
it
both
seems to me like
our
yes,
second
your
and
grad
third
student, your
game.
pitcher of the year is is helping the team win and get in these big games. And as sad as it is that you guys are going to lose her, it seems like you guys have someone who's as good as her right behind her to step into that number one role as a Friday starter and probably Saturday starter as well. Um, is that the case? I don't know how to ask that question, but do you see a drop off? I know you're just a freshman. I don't really know how to ask this question. I may just restart this whole thing. Because I'm trying not to be like rude and say you're just a freshman. How do you know this? Like I'm trying to figure out how to ask it. Okay, so with Emily being a grad student and Morgan having a couple years left of eligibility, I can't remember what grade she's in. Do you think there will be as much of a drop off when Emily leaves as pitcher of the year when Morgan steps into that number one spot next year? Okay, so
Absolutely, Morgan is ready for that role, and she's made it very clear between practices and games. Even she is a two-way player. We put her out in right field a lot, and she does come up with clutch hits for us as well. We do have a lot of young arms right now. Obviously, we haven't had to use them because of how well our two dominant pitchers have been doing. But so in the next 3 years, we are moving conferences, which is a little bit stressful. So right now we're in the CAA conference, and we had just announced in December that we are going to be moving to Conference USA. 7 of our sports are moving there, which is super exciting. Better competition for sure. And we will definitely be seeing a lot of great teams in that conference. I mean, there's Liberty, we have Middle Tennessee State University, and I mean, there's so many other great teams. And they often are playing, SEC teams and ACC teams. So we definitely will be seeing great competition. So honestly, it's just a matter of adjusting to that new conference and,
Yeah, I just did a quick search on
learning
the
their
teams in that
players
conference
and
just to
their
refresh my
coaches
memory.
and, just the adjustment.
That is a good conference, that
Absolutely.
it has some very good teams that have proven themselves in the past. Middle Tennessee, Southern Miss, Louisiana Tech, Liberty, like you said. That I think that'll help one, recruiting, even though I think it's already really good where it's at. But that should help that, and also it should maybe, who knows, if you guys are good, something happens down the road, you guys don't win the conference tournament, maybe get you guys an at-large bid, get ranked at some point. That should help in the future as well. So, yeah, me too. I hope you guys
Absolutely. I'm excited
are
to
able
see
to
the
win
future
out
of
and then
Delaware
win
softball.
the conference tournament in Wilmington, and then hopefully get that berth. Well, if you win the conference tournament, you get the berth, but get that berth into a regional and take that next step, because I think you guys didn't make it out of the conference tournament last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we are ready for blood. It has been addressed. We did unfortunately lose 2 games back to back, and which was a huge shock because we were expected to win the tournament. And so, everybody knows going down, Delaware's ready, and
Yeah, they
Delaware's
are.
angry. Yes, very angry, and ready to take the conference
Good.
tournament championship title, and very excited to get down there and get to action.
I can't wait to watch. It's so exciting. Well, I think the last question that I have is through all of your experiences, what's your biggest takeaway? Whether that be through the sport of softball, through being a manager, through playing, all of it combined. What's your biggest takeaway?
Honestly, stick with it. Like, if you are going through a lot, stick with it. It's probably going to be one of your best decisions that you make. And, there's so many people to support you. And playing a women's sport is such an incredible thing, with Title IX being enacted in 1972. Like, it's such a huge opportunity. And, what isn't, desirable to play, and keep going with it. Test your limits, exceed what you can
Me
make,
too.
and
I think
go from there.
I love that.
I don't know if it's helped you a
I'm so
lot
glad you
in your
stuck with it.
personal life, but I think that the love for the game, I think, helps people more than they think it does in the long run. So I'm glad you did stick with it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jules.
Yes.
We wish Delaware all the luck in being ready for
Thank you
blood
very much
and
for taking the
taking
time. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
the conference tournament. So,
Yes.
yes, good luck with
See ya.
everything. I
Thank
cannot wait to see
you.
it. Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye, Jules.
Yeah, I agree.
Bye.
So my question to end the episode
That was
today
awesome.
is going to be
Oh,
a
man.
Delaware pitcher named Morgan pitched a no-hitter in their game on Saturday.
Ugh.
I'll give you a hint because I know you're never going to guess the number. How many no-hitters has there been in Delaware team history now since this no-hitter was thrown? It is in between 10 and 20. I don't know how to give you a hint without, I have to give you a hint. You're never going to guess the number. It could be 1 million. You don't know. Are you serious? What the heck?
17.
Oh my God. How did you guess that?
Queen. I'm such a queen.
She's definitely proud. I'm 100% sure she's gonna freak out.
Jules would be
Because
so.
no one just guesses 17. Come on, man. I don't even. I don't
said he does.
understand how you got that right.
I'm guessing it was
I
right.
thought that was gonna be an impossible
Was not.
question.
No phone.
And
No phone.
I gave you 10 numbers. You had a 1 in 10 chance.
Well,
It's
know
not like
what?
you had a 50-50 chance.
Well, you did help me.
God.
I mean, it was like a 1 in 10
Man,
chance.
I thought I was going to get you on that one. Yeah, she knew where I was going with it when I asked her, when I mentioned it in the questions
that was a good
that
question.
I was asking her about. So that is, hopefully we will see you guys next week.
Well,
with brand new
that's
guests.
it for us today.
A good episode, some more sports news, because I can only imagine what's going to happen this week. It's changing every second. 2 twins actually are playing as teammates in that. The Hogarth twins, or Hogarth brothers, and the Cootie twins. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Twins.
I believe there should be a lot to talk about next week. So
there's a lot going on. So make sure you tune in next week.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, make sure you tune in next week to get all the information that you missed on the ESPN Rundown.
See ya.
Yes. Well, thank you for joining us this week. We will see you next week when Game Changers returns.